Hello, my name is Taylor and I go by Nippon Online. This is my first year doing YouTube. I don't know how many videos I'm gonna make, but I figured this was a good place to start even though it's really late. Sorry about that. I was on the fence for a while, but you know, they say you gotta just jump in and do it. These are my 26 books that I want to read for 2026. I do want to go ahead and also say that that is a ridiculous number of books. I completely realize that. And I was overzealous with my list. Like, to the fullest. I was really thinking that I was going to do a lot more than I'm actually going to be able to do. And I realized that, and I'll take it easy on myself. I really want to read 13 of these books the most, and the other 13 are like extra prizes for me, but it's just something to keep me accountable. You might notice that I'm in a different shirt. Some of my audio got messed up and my first clip was kind of weird, so I am just going to be recording those just to let you know what the elephant in the room is, but that's not stopping us. We live and we learn. So for our very first book, for the 26 books I want to read in the year 2026, it is going to be If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I want to preface, obviously I haven't read any of these books, so if I say a synopsis of a book that you've already read and I get it completely wrong, I'm really sorry, I haven't read it. Or if maybe I don't, maybe I get it all right. That'd be pretty crazy too. But anyway, so If We Were Villains follows a cast of 7 characters who are like in college together, and they all are learning Shakespeare. They're like in a Shakespearean troupe together. So I guess they go to a fancy school for that. I am really excited to read this one. I got it at one of Barnes & Noble's buy one book, get it 50% off sale, or get one 50% off sale. It looks like one of the characters is going to be in jail for about 10 years. And he's released, and this detective wants to know the truth after 10 years of Oliver, the main character, being in there, and he's ready to tell it. So I'm guessing this is the story of what landed him in jail. I'm sure that it involves the people that are in this theater troupe with him. Normally in dark academia, something bad happens to kind of kick it all off, and that's what I have for this book. So I'm very excited to read it, and I have good feelings about it. Also wanted to say, when I was flipping through, I really like the way that it's written in scenes, like it is itself a play. I think that's just so interesting. It has a prologue, a scene. It's very cool. So yeah, okay. Then I have Scythe. This is a young adult book where it follows a lot of people know this book. It feels like it's kind of a required literature for the young adult, like, spectrum for me. So I really wanted to buy this and get some good reading out of it. It also got like a little award. I don't know what the award is. Everything I've heard has been really great. So basically in this world, people don't die anymore from natural causes. Like, there's no more wars, there's no hunger, there's no infighting, none of that. And so with that comes still the need to like control how many people are in society. Like, they need population control. That's where the Scythes come in, and they are basically people in charge of taking out the ones who are no longer needed. But I'm pretty sure our main character isn't really down with the get down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they really like the idea of this job. So that's basically what I know, and I can't wait to actually have more information about it. And this is a part of a series, so if I do like this one, I will be continuing. But for now, I'm just gonna start here and see where it goes. The next book is also a part of a series. This was a very popular book last year, and I was waiting for it to come out on paperback because it's so huge. And that is The Will of the Many, part of the Hierarchy series. It just seems very cool to me. Like, look at this pyramid. It's so science fiction. So from what I know about The Will of the Many, this is a society that is built low-key like a pyramid scheme. So they all have this thing called will, and they seed it to the next levels. The people on the bottom, they're like the everyday civilians, and they give their power to the next up, to the next up, to the next up. So the ones at the very top, they have the most power, and they get it from everyone else. So that's kind of how the society looks. This seems to be kind of like a mafia infiltrator. Like, have you ever watched 91 Days, the anime, where this guy, he was part of a mob boss and his family was killed. So he like grows up and he ends up infiltrating their ranks to expose them and like go and take them out from the inside. That's what this is, from what I'm understanding from the like the back of it, but novel edition, set in a different empire. So our main character, it looks like he's going to this academy and he's all like, I'm your friend, la-di-da-di-da, I'm here to continue society's great hurrah to cede our power and keep this empire going, but he's not. He's on it all. His family were outcasts, and he wants revenge. He wants to know the secrets. He's there to expose things and find things. And he is not wanted here. Like, if they found out who he was, they'd kill him. So that seems very interesting to me. I love a good murder mystery. Or, I love a good mystery. And that's what this kind of is giving me, is mystery vibes. So yeah, we'll see how right I am about that. I'm probably not right at all. Okay. Ooh. Lots of books. Lots of books. Oh my god, everything sounds like it's falling. Next we have All the Light We Cannot See. This was a National Book Award finalist, and it also received 10 Best Books by the New York Times Book Review in 2014. This series right here, actually, this book, this novel, I watched the series that they had on Netflix, like the short series that they had when it first came out, and it was so good. I absolutely loved it, and I don't know how I haven't read the book yet. I've bought it up as soon as I started reading again, and I got a couple pages look, winner of the Pulitzer Prize, baby. I got a couple pages through, but I haven't, like, I wasn't serious about reading it, and I want to go ahead and read this book because I know it's going to be such a great novel. Basically, it follows two different characters. One is a girl. It takes place in the war times, like World War II, and mainly it takes place in like this little town that has been blocked off by the German Nazis. There's a little bit of intrigue because the main girl, she is blind, but she is working with rebel forces to like get out information. And then you also follow this soldier who is very, very good with technology. And there's also a hidden artifact that the big bad is looking for. And it all kind of collides into like this great story that I really, really want to get my hands on. So this book will be read by me this year. It will be read. Next, we have The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodges. Honestly, this is great. Win the throne, destroy an empire. Either way, it begins with a murder. This was the very first book that I read this year. I've already read this book, and I loved it. It was on my list. I said, I'm not going to be slacking with this list. I will be doing my list, okay? I will. I'll be trying to do my list. So I've actually already read this book, but it was so good. Anyway, what it's about is, I got a lot of big books this year, by the way. This is murder mystery meets War for the Throne in a series of trials and just intrigue. I don't want to say too much about it because I know everything about it now, but let's just say it's very good. And this is also part of a series. This will be a 3-part series. It's the only book that's out yet. I'm hoping the next book comes out this year now because now that I've read it, I'm hooked. Book number 6 on our list is quite a doozy. It's a big book. 6 and 7 are both big books. This one is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. He is a very prolific writer for his time. The people back in the day, they were lucky how they got this. They got it in serialization form. And now I just have a brick in front of me, which is extremely overwhelming. Like, if you're just looking at how big this book is, it's tedious. It feels like it's never going to end. But I know that I'm going to love it once I start. This is a very, like, epic adventure story. And it's a classic. it's important to read your classics, guys. So I'm really interested. Basically, what the plot follows, because I honestly didn't know a lot about it other than somebody in here's account. It follows this man, this boy, really, who is a sailor. And I've actually read a little bit of the front of the very first pages. And he's honestly, like, pretty chill. He's a good guy. A lot of people like him. He's very good at what he does. And on their last expedition, the captain died. So he is, like, second in command. Well, this one person doesn't like this idea. Anyway, he gets wrongfully imprisoned for something that he did not do. Obviously, it was wrongfully done. So he gets imprisoned for something he does not do. And whenever he gets released, he basically goes out to enact his revenge. I don't know if that's true. That might be false. Because he seems like, from the beginning, he seems great. But there are some snakes slithering in his grass, trying to bring him down. And they do bring him down. So he gets out of jail, he becomes wealthy, and he's like, I'm about to show them what's up. So yeah, that's what this book's about. I'm excited to try and read it. Hopefully I do really good. Look at how small that print is. There are over 800 pages in this copy here. And this is my white whale this year. Yes. Book number 7 is also a behemoth. This one is Mark Z. Danilowski's. I can never say his name. Danielski. Danielski? This is a hard word for me. Danielski. Let's look it up together. Hold, please. Book number 6 is by Mark Z. Danilowski. Tom's Crossing. Last year, I read House of Leaves over the course of like 5 months, and I enjoyed it. There are parts that I didn't enjoy. I think that's like necessary with ergodic literature, which is what that is. It's just literature that's hard on purpose. It has a lot of stuff that you have to kind of sift through and figure out the meaning behind it, and some of it's like deep, but some of it's not that deep. A lot of fake footnotes, you know, that's what it is. But obviously I did enjoy it because I could not wait for this to come out. I could not wait. So Tom's Crossing is a pretty big book. And I don't want to know a lot about it. I want to go into this fairly blind. We do read the back. It does say no one talks to the dead for free. And Stephen King has a blurb on here, so that's pretty good. It says it's an amazing work of fiction. I absolutely loved it. I don't know how Stephen King has time to read books because he's writing books every day of his life, but apparently he has time. He has this much time. And if he has this much time, so do I. So I'm excited to read it. I'm interested to see what happens. I know that it has a horse in it. I know that I think it takes place in the long time ago olden days, and that's all I want to know until I'm in here. So yeah, Tom's Crossing. Then we're gonna go to some lighter books, some not as heavy books, okay? Finally. For our next one, it's Nothing Like the Movies. This is Lynn Painter's second book to this is the sequel of Better Than the Movies. I absolutely loved Better Than the Movies. It was so good. It was so cute. And it was just very like rom-com novel. And I was about it. This one, I hear it's not as great as Better Than the Movies. People don't like it as much. But, I mean, I need to read this. I need to know what happens. I know this is them going to college, and some host stuff happens, and so they kind of break up, and they might get back together, which is so sad if that's true, because Liz and Wes were meant to be together, and to make them go through trauma, it's just not fair. It's not fair after all they went through in the first book of finally becoming friends again. So we will discover this together. Then I have this big behemoth as well. Another big book. Ooh! With a book magnet? A book magnet for free? I got this book used. I've had this book for many years. Like a lot of years. And that book in question is Stephen King's 11/22/63. I have not read this book. This is probably the oldest book that I own. And it's a shame to say that, seeing as I've reread The Shining and Doctor Sleep, and I've read it. I'm just I love Stephen King. I know he has some things in his books that are a little like, what do you mean by that, Stephen? Why'd you write that? But I really enjoy his style, his writing. It's very easy to get into. And besides Billy Summers, I haven't read one of his non-horror books. So I think that's where my fear comes in. That's why I haven't really picked it up. But this follows, it's like time travel, trying to stop the assassination of JFK, which I'm from Dallas. I'm a Texas girl. I live near Dallas, and so that's a really interesting story. And obviously, like, this is going to be phenomenal. They just made a mini series of it on Netflix, and I cannot watch that series until this book is read. And that's not why I put this on my list. Obviously, like I said, it's the oldest book I have in my physical TBR. It needs to be read, and it will be read this year. And if it's not read this year, I have to make an apology video on YouTube. So, gotta bump that up. This book pile is getting really tall. Okay. Next, now this one. Okay, this book. So, this is The Crown of Gilded Bones. I do have the cover for this somewhere. I don't know where. I started reading Jennifer Almentrout's books last year for this series, particularly this series. And I absolutely love the first book. And the second book was okay. And then I got annoyed. Because her titles all sound the same. They all sound the same. And so whenever you're trying to shop for a book by her, it became a very harrowing experience for me whenever I realized I picked up the wrong book and it's not even from the same series because I'm looking for a Flesh and Blood or something like that, and I pick up a Flesh and Flyer and it's a different series completely, but they're all intertied together. So I'm going to replace with her literature right now, okay? I don't know if I like it. So I stopped reading this book at like 120 pages or something like that. And I've picked it back up, and I am going to try again to finish this book. After I finish this book, I will decide if I want to read any more of her series or not. So, gotta read this book this year. Gotta make up my mind, and if not, I have to unhaul them. I hate unhauling books, but it has to be done. You have to clean out your library. Marie Kondo said so. Okay. What's next? I'm back from the future. Okay, so for our next book, it's going to be Lev Grossman's The Bright Sword. This is book number 11 on my list. This is basically a novel set around the Round Table, or people who are in the Round Table. It's not going to be King Arthur or anything like that, but I think it's going to be characters who normally don't get a lot of screen time that might be knights, but like not the best knights. I picked this book up because I really enjoyed reading the Magician series by him, and I also enjoyed the sci-fi series that they had of the same name that came out like a long time ago. And through that, I just really liked his writing style. And I've never read a King Arthur story before, so I'm kind of interested. Now, for the next two books, I actually do not have them physically, but they're going to be Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which is a very classic Gothic story about a girl who ends up meeting this rich man and getting whisked away, but she becomes basically like the new wife of this house, and unfortunately there are traces of the wife before her predecessor, Rebecca, everywhere. Like all the staff really liked her. She did the rooms, so basically our main character is being smothered by the ghost of this woman who no longer exists. And that's just such an interesting story, and I'm very excited to try to read it again because I did start it last year and I just kind of ran out of time. So I only got like 50 pages in or so. And then the other book that I don't have is Now Back to You, or And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This is actually the second in a series. Last year I read First Time Caller and I thought it was so cute. I literally was like kicking my little feet up the whole time, and I was like, oh, look at this, they're fighting romance. And I think that this follows one of the secondary characters, like the main guy's best friend, who is he does like the weather on the radio, but he's got beef with the meteorologist across the street who does it on TV, and I think that this is their love story. So it sounds like enemies to lovers, but I don't think they ever actually hated each other because they were definitely crushing in the first book, and so I'm excited to see their love story take place. Okay, so for book number 13, it's going to be Ali Hazelwood's Love on the Brain. I read Love Hypothesis last year, and I know everyone already kind of knows Ali Hazelwood if you read romance, but basically she likes to write romances settled in STEM with very smart lead women characters. This one is no different. It follows the main character who's a neuroscientist, and she ends up having to work on this thing for NASA with her arch nemesis. Of course, we know how that's gonna go. This is obviously gonna be an enemies to lovers type story, and I'm just excited for the ride. So yep, there's that one. I have on my list The Vampire Lestat. This is the second one in the Vampire Chronicles. This one here, I'm pretty sure it follows Lestat, the said vampire on this cover. I don't know if that's actually him or not, but I like to believe that this story is going to be basically his origin story and probably tell the events that happened in New Orleans in the first book through his eyes, and maybe even afterwards. So I'm excited for this. Then I have Watermoon. I got this in a Lumicrate subscription when it was first coming out, and it was really, really popular. But then the reviews started hitting, and people didn't seem like they liked it that much. So honestly, it has me a little bit worried. But I mean, look at this. Look at this. Beautiful, gorgeous book. And tell me, I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to make myself love this book. But basically, what it's about, from what I know, is this woman works at a lost and found store. I guess not really a thrift shop, but she works at this place where people come to find things that they have lost, like a pawn shop, I guess. And it's not just normal stuff like, oh, you lost your watch. It's more endearing things. Well, her father ends up going missing, and her and this guy who comes in end up going on an adventure together to find him, and possibly something that this guy needs. I don't really know, but I'm excited. It's gonna be a cute little mystery. A cute little let's go find my dad out in the wilderness. Out in the wilderness. And then I have This Close to Okay by Lisa Crossmith. This book, the cover just kind of spoke to me because, I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways, we're always like this close to being okay, right? I thought that was beautiful. So this is about a therapist. I believe that she's a therapist who recently got a divorce. She's driving home and she sees a boy on a bridge and about to jump. So she stops, she talks him down, and he comes and stays with her. And basically, I think this is us really trying to figure out over the course of a weekend what got him to the point where he was on that bridge, and also like trying to figure out how to help him. That we've made it halfway through the list, so we're on the back portion, book 13. The second half, these are books that I'm hoping to get to, but they're not books that I'm like, oh my god, if I don't read this by the end of the year, I'm gonna have words. It basically just pads my list, and it's just like my fun little extra books. Next book is going to be a Riley Sager book, Final Girls. I have enjoyed every Riley Sager book that I've read for different reasons. A lot of them, like, I get kind of annoyed with a lot of like mystery books and how they do their twists sometimes, and it's just like so unbelievable. Riley Sager is the same, but for some reason, the way that they write, especially how he writes women, I was so sure that he was a girl. Because I think he writes women very well, in my personal opinion. Now, I don't have a lot of skin in the game. I'm just a girl, which I feel like gives me some skin in the game. But anyway, I digress. This book right here is going to be about a group of final girls who meet up because they have all survived like some horrific mass murdering that's taken place, and they were the sole survivors. Well, this is a pretty cool little thing, little shindig they got going on, until one of the final girls is found maraudered. Yeah, she gets maraudered. And so another girl pops up at our main character's house and is like, hey, so people are dying. I need to find out what happened to you. So I don't know if this person is like copycatting what's happened to them and how they died or what, but I'm really interested in this little series here. Ooh, another murder mystery. Okay, now we have The Lost Bookshop of Evie Woods. As is like the theme with this, because I haven't read any of these books, I don't really know a lot about it. But it seems like this is about a bookshop that is known to disappear and reappear, and it just pulls random unsuspecting people into it. A lot of people who have this theme of feeling like they are not the leads in their own stories, and they are pulled into a world where they have to reevaluate that and how they look at themselves, and become kind of, I guess, maybe see their own extraordinary qualities. That's what I get from this very short premise, and it's set in Dublin. Now, I think that's a pretty good sign for us to go to our next little book. We're just going back and forth here between, oh, you know, we did Dublin, so let's do something else that's kind of, this one is translated from German, and I think that it takes place in a village in Ireland. Yeah, in Ireland. This is a cozy mystery with sheep. So basically, Three Bags Full is a sheep detective story. It says it literally right there, which is why I bought it. I could not leave the, I did. I left the bookstore many times without picking this book up. But every day I would go in there and I would see that buy one, get one 50% off sticker. And it would meet my eyes. I'd be like, why are you staring at me like that? I don't have a second book I want. And then I would leave. And then I'd pick it up. I'd go like this. I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then I would leave. And the 5th time I did that, it got me. I said, okay, fine, you're coming home with me. God, I guess I'm going to buy you. So I did, but I haven't read it yet. And this book is basically about these sheep who are the only people who can solve the murder of their owner. And so that's what we're kind of following here. Okay, next we have my first V.E. Schwab book. I have never read V.E. Schwab, and I figured what better way than to start with her Shades of Magic series. So if I like this one, I will continue. I do own all 3 books. This is A Darker Shade of Magic, which follows our lead character, Kel, who I guess in this world there are parallel Londons. There's like a red and a blue. They're basically like Power Rangers of London, the London Power Rangers. And he can travel in between them. And I guess he's like smuggling goods and doing some stuff, but this gets him into trouble. And that's what I got. So onward, upwards and onwards, as they do say. This one is going to be a cutesy little story. Tales from the Cafe. This is a sequel to Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I really enjoyed Before the Coffee Gets Cold. It's like a nice little refreshing breather. So I say that, but it was like actually so sad. And I'm sure this is going to be sad too. The general premise is that these people wander into this cafe, and this cafe has a very special property. There is one chair that you can sit in, and if you follow these rules, you can go back in time or into the future and see someone or experience an event from your past. And it's really, really cute. It tells the stories of multiple different people. So there are a lot of characters packed in this tiny book. I remember last time I had to kind of put a list of how they connected because it got kind of confusing for me. But I'm excited to read the second one. All right, so that's books number like 17, 18, 19, 20. So we're getting near the end of the list. Okay, so for our next book, we literally only have 4 more books left. That's really exciting. It's going to be First Live Wins. This book was actually given to me by a person who came into my job who was hosting their own book club, and this was the book they read that month. I asked if she liked it, and she was like, why don't you find out? Do you want the copy? And I said, okay. And so she gave this to me, but from the looks of it, I would say that this seems to be a killer for hire who is hired to do a hit, and then things get a little wonky for her. I'm kind of almost getting Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes from reading like the synopsis on it, but just going to be a nice little thriller for us. palette cleanser, and it's by Ashley Elston, one of Reese's book clubs. So I'm hoping that I enjoy this, but if not, it was just a free little book, and it was, like I said, a gift, so I need to read this because I think that I was given this 2024, so it's got to be done this year. Then we have my only nonfiction book in the list, and it's actually kind of a weird one. It is called Over My Dead Body. Basically, this book is about people who have died, and moreover than that, cemeteries. So basically it's going over, unearthing the hidden history of America's cemeteries, which normally does not seem to be something that most people find interesting, but the dark and macabre and things like that that are kind of not really seen, such as our cemeteries, which are an important part of not only our history, but it's a part of our lives. We all have to interact with them at some point. It would just be a very interesting read. So I'm really interested in seeing what happens here. How many times can a girl say interesting? Let's find out. Anyway, here is the quote. The little page, it says, "Grave digger," this is from Hamlet, Act 5. "Come, my spade, there is no ancient gentleman, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession." Sheesh, I'm excited. I hope I like this. I'm probably gonna have to take a long time to read it. Now for book number 25, we are going back to the classics with Jane Austen's Emma. No, I'm not reading this entire thing. This is 7 novels. Sorry for blinding you. It's so bright. But yeah, we will be reading Emma, which is in here. Emma is about, here it is. Emma is about this girl from, I think she's from a wealthy family. She is viewed as very clever, very pretty, and she lives comfortably. But she's also a mischief maker, and she likes to set up matchmaking. This seems to be kind of a rom-com story, so I'm really excited to kind of see this really light, really cute story, and maybe she herself will find some romance in the process. And now you're on to our very last book. For the last book that I have for my 26 books is actually R.F. Kuang's Babel. As this is in the second portion, I don't know if I'm gonna get to this year. This book honestly kind of scares me because the entire everything about it, I hear that this book is very impactful on people and it's given great ratings, but I'm just worried that it's gonna put me in a weird headspace, but I still want to experience it. Basically, Babel follows this boy who is orphaned and taken in by this English educator, and he puts him through school so that he can be a part of Babel, basically a prestigious academy in Oxford that is like they get taught multiple different languages. They are the translators, but also by learning these languages, they are able to do magic, and it's got a lot of commentary on racial and social situations, and I'm very excited to read this, but I'm also really afraid. So that is my last book. It is an epic fantasy in the dark academia tone, so that is all. So that sounds really good. Like I said, really worried about this one, but yeah, no, that's my last book, and that's really all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate any time that you took for this, and I will see you next time.